Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Kinprint. For all your company's promotional needs, they do it all. Apparel, promotional products using the highest quality brands. They do logo design, signage, and printing. Kinprint will promote your brand with excellence. Visit kinprint.ca. So that, Oiler fans, is what it looks like when the best goalie in the world is on top of his game. Oilers got goalied big time, and the streak is now over. Welcome to Got Your Back, post-game live stream edition. Jason Strudwick standing by, Rob Brown should be calling in soon. We're going to break this entire thing down. Looking forward to the podcast tonight. As always, it's brought to you by our great friends over at Sherwood Buick GMC. Did you know that volume-wise, they're the number one GMC dealership in the country? Just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. They know what they're doing. Look at this great-looking crew. Had a great event a couple of weeks ago, their Black Friday sale. When they do something, they know how to do it right. They got the fancy stuff. They got the practical stuff. They've got new. They've got used. They got everything you need to meet your vehicle needs. And mention Got Your Back sent you. You'll get specialized pricing. As a bonus, you'll also get 3 free ultimate detail packages on a new or a used vehicle. See Phil and the great crew in Sherwood Park or online at www.gmcpod.com. Coming to you from a long shot. Rob Brown is just wrapping up his post-game show with Reed over on Shed. Struddy and I wanted to get started because we're a little late here, and Brownie will hop in over the phone shortly. Struds, how you doing today, my man? What's going on in your world, bud?
Great, kids, Christmas concerts, getting near the end of the school, at least for before Christmas. So, yeah, lots of Christmas gifts, some wrapping. It's a pretty exciting time.
So we're going to break this game down. We're going to have our Ask Us Anything segment. Steve Taylor is manning the controls down in out in Kelowna. And that'll be our Ask Us Anything segment coming on up a little bit later. Struddy's World tonight as well. Looking forward to it as always, Struds. Any hints tonight to give people a sense of what might be in store?
We're going to just kind of take a look at the world of garbage maintenance around your home. Specifically my home.
Specifically your home. All right. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Struddy's World coming up in a couple of segments. As I said, Brownie's just finishing up, so he's going to give us a call. In the meantime, though, let's get going on this thing because Oiler fans, I don't know how you're feeling tonight. Oh, we got Brownie? Brownie, you there?
I am here.
Hey, Brownie, guess what? Struddy's going to do a Struddy's World on his garbage.
Garbage maintenance. Let's be correct.
Seriously, yeah. Can we not give him parameters? Is there no way we can give him parameters what he can and can't talk about?
No, you can't start producing in your first year, Brownie. Get in your lane, pal. Sorry, I'm not with you on that. Good stuff. Well, we'll see. I don't know if we'll get to it before you get home or not, but I know you'll race inside the house just to listen. Let's get to our breakdown brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel, Edmonton's heavy-duty diesel truck repair shop. A unique shop for a couple of reasons. They do customs, like custom exhausts, engines, body work. If you can think of it, they can get it done. And they're also the Ghostbusters. If there's something wrong and no one can figure out what it is, they love that challenge. Yes, Marty and his staff will not quit until they get you an answer. High standards, great service. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. No place to start, Struddy, other than a goalie who let in 4 goals, had a teammate who scored 4 goals, and was still the first star of the game because it wasn't even close. That is Vasilevsky at the top end of his game, Struds.
Well, he was unbelievable tonight. And I'm talking about a guy who's, as you mentioned, let in 4 goals. But, what were the shots? 57 shots against, and he only lets in 4. That is an amazing night. And there were some really good chances. He made some incredible saves. Great goalies, they never give up on the puck, right? They're always fighting to try to make the save. Even if they're out of position, they're diving across. And that's what, when you are a Stanley Cup champion, been in the Stanley Cup Finals a number of times, he is the man. To me, he's still one of the top 3 goalies in the league, Brownie.
Well, he is, and they're in the third period. The Oilers are winning 3-2. He made 3 or 4 big saves. He just kept his team around. This was probably, if you don't have an all-world goaltender in there, this is probably an 8-4 Oiler victory. They played that good, the Edmonton Oilers, offensively tonight. Vasilevskiy was incredible, and this is what I love about him. He had an all-world night. First star. He could have been first, second, and third star.
Yeah.
When he gave up the goal, the 4th goal by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he turned and broke his stick over the goalpost. He was so mad that 4th goal went in. That's just the competitiveness about him. That's why I do believe, and I talked with John Shannon before the game, I think this Tampa Bay Lightning team will have a run this year. They'll have a run sometime in the regular season. They will be a playoff club, because they have the best goalie in the world, the best money goaltender in the world.
Yeah, I heard you making those points before the game, Brown, and I thought they were well made. You can't count this team out. They're well coached. They got great high-end talent. I'm going to give Reed credit because he made this point on your show, and I thought I'm going to steal that. But as I sit here, host to host, I can't in good conscience just steal it. He made the point recently here on your show, Brownie, that Vasilevskiy did tonight what Connor McDavid does to teams on a lot of nights. When you're the best in the world at doing something, every once in a while, you just lay one down and get in the other team's way. Like lots of nights, teams get McDavid. McDavid did it. Well, they got Vasilevskiy tonight, Struds. Like when you got the best in the world, sometimes they're just going to do that to you.
They will. But I'm going to counter with this. I think that a top tier team finds a way to break Vasilevskiy. I really do. Like
Good point.
I wasn't the elite goal scorer that some people thought I was, but I do think that when you get 57 shots, I think they had multiple good chances. Like I can't even wait to see what the sports log look like. It's got to be so one-sided. Just slot shots, rest chances, all that. You, Brownie, this team, the Oilers, when you're playing that well, you need to find a way to break him, and to get the 5th goal or whatever you need to do it.
See, and I disagree. I think sometimes the goalie just outplays you. I mean, it's like when Connor McDavid's coming down, you could do all the right things as a defenseman. You could have the right gap control. You could have your stick in the right place. You could push him over exactly where you want him to be, and then he beats you and goes in and scores a goal. You go back to the bench, and the coach says, you did everything right. The only problem was it was Connor McDavid and not this guy, or this guy. Tonight, the Oilers did everything right. They got pucks on net. They crashed the net. They got rebound plays. They got deflection plays. They had breakaways. They did everything right. And Vasilevskiy was too good. There's a reason this guy has 2 Stanley Cups. Kucherov, after they won the 1 Stanley Cup, went on, when he was drunk and shirtless, said that this is the best goaltender in the world. There's not a better goaltender in big moments. So I don't think you when you say they should have scored a 5th goal, sometimes the other guy is just too good, and tonight Vasilevskiy was too good.
Ruds, the assertion you're making is that maybe there were some stones left unturned by the Oilers, right? Maybe there was a little more they could have done to try and throw that guy off the rails somehow. So what are some practical things you think, Struddy, that maybe they could have been doing tonight to try and shake him out of that heater he was in?
Well, it's the easy one, or the low-hanging fruits always say get in his eyes, right? And the Oilers had decent chances, second chances, but quite often it was there were some desperation saves by Vasilevskiy, but did he miss? Was there a chance to do a flyby where we can't see it, or bump him by accident, or just those little things? Because Brown, I understand what you're saying, I hear you, but 57 shots, I think there's a way to kind of rattle him, to get at him, to unsettle him. And I know that he's a 2-time Stanley Cup winner. I understand all that. But if you can't, when I say if the Oilers can't do it in a game like that now, do you worry about that as they head into the playoffs? They can't unsettle another goaltender.
Well, I don't think you don't unsettle Vasilevskiy. You just don't. The great ones don't get unsettled. That's like saying, okay, when we're playing against Connor McDavid, we got to be more physical on him. We got to unsettle him. It doesn't affect the greats. The greats play through that. There's going to be, and the Oilers play this game tomorrow and have 57 shots on net against Tampa. They probably score 6. Sometimes a great goalie has a moment that doesn't matter what you do. I mean, Leon Draisaitl said it after the game. We win 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 if we play that way. But sometimes you get beat by a goalie. If the Oilers played the Tampa Bay Lightning in a 7-game series and outplayed them as badly as they did tonight in all 7 games, the Oilers will win the series. You can't be as incredible as Vasilevsky was tonight. He can't do that 7 games in a row. But tonight was his night. And there was a number of shots he didn't see where the Oilers were in his eyes. But he, as Leon said after the game, and I really like the point that Leon said, he reads the play so well. So even though he couldn't see the puck, he knew where the puck should be going and put his body positioning in that way. So to me, there was nothing that the Oilers did wrong offensively tonight. To me, they just got beat by a better goalie.
Yeah, good arguments on both sides of it, Struds. I think I'll probably land on Brownie's side of this, and here's why. I mean, they got 4 by him. It's not like they got 1 or 2 by him. I mean, they got 4 by him, and that should be enough. So that leads us into the next part of the conversation, and that is Stuart Skinner. So there's 2 pieces of this conversation. Not sure if you heard Stuart Skinner post-game or not. We're going to save his post-game comments for the second segment because Skinner had some really interesting post-game comments, and I want to take some time and I want to break down what he said and dig into the kind of the psyche of it a little bit. So we'll save those comments for the next segment. But bottom line, Brownie, he basically, admitted, look, the team played great tonight and I cost the team the game. So evaluate those last couple of goals, Brownie. Is that fair or is he being too hard on himself?
Well, he's being hard on himself, and I heard him talk about it afterwards, and I appreciate it as a fan that he's a guy that stood up and said, you know what, I wasn't good enough. It's funny, the Kucherov goal is one where Ceci played it really well. Didn't allow him to shoot the puck on a one-on-one. Yet Kucherov still finding a way to get the puck in the net. If that would have been McDavid going down on Sergachev, we wouldn't be talking about Vasilevsky letting in a bad goal. We would have been talking about the brilliance of McDavid keeping a play alive, and just when he knows that the goalie's about to poke check him, pulling it through the legs. So that was one where, yeah, he probably should have had it, but let's give credit to where credit's due. Kucherov made a nice play there. The Stamkos one, now that's a goal he probably would want back more so, because that was a long-distance shot from a guy who was standing still. We saw Nurse score a goal on Hellebuck a couple weeks ago in Winnipeg, but Nurse was coming with full speed up the ice when he shot between the goalie's legs. Going to have more velocity because he was going with speed. Stamkos stopped and looked to make a play. There was no place, so he shot it on net. To me, that was the goal that he should have had, more so than the Kucherov one, which was one where he was waiting for his chance to pounce on it, and Kucherov was waiting for that as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take this opportunity to revisit my comments that, they should have played Picard against Chicago, then gone back here. And I know that come back to this game with Skinner. And I understand Knobloch spoke about it. After the game, he didn't feel that fatigue was a big deal. He hasn't played that much. But, at this moment, I don't know that Skinner is a 4 out of 5 goalie, right? I'm not convinced of that, or a 3 out of 4 games. I don't think he's there yet. So when you get an opportunity to give him a break in the schedule, I think you take it. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to say it, guys. I believe missed opportunity by the coaching staff to give him 2 days in a row without a game.
I'll give you credit, Struds. You're being consistent because you said that before. And it's tough to say that while goalies are winning games and the decision works out, and it's not easy to take that stance. He was asked after the game, Knobloch was, if he thought Skinner looked a little bit tired. Cam Tate actually asked that question, typed it up on his phone and gave it to me. By the way, love having Cam Tate around the rink and down in those post-game press conferences. Honestly, he's an absolute beauty. And I love the fact that he tapped out that question on his phone and handed it to me, wanted me to ask it. And it was a bit of not a fastball, but it was a stiff question, basically suggesting, are you playing your goalie too much? So way to go, Cam. Love you, buddy. He didn't necessarily think so. I don't know, Brownie, they definitely got to manage this guy's minutes. For sure they do. And with Pickard having played decent in his last start, pretty well in his last start, do you agree with Struddy's assertion there?
No, I don't. I love Struds too, but no, I don't agree with him on that one. I think Skinner played pretty good in the 7 previous games that he won. To me, I don't think fatigue was a problem. It wouldn't have taken a lot of energy to stop the Kucherov goal. It wasn't one that he looked tired on. And the other one he just fluffed on the Stamkos one. If I'm the coach, I'd go back with him against Florida. If I'm the coach, I would play him on the Tuesday night. I'm not sure. I think that's the Islanders. And then I would give Pickard the New Jersey game on the Thursday night. But I would go the next 2 games with Skinner. I don't think he looks fatigued. They had 6 days off just recently. This isn't by the playoffs yet. I think as we get closer to the playoffs, yes, he needs his rest, depending on what the Oilers' playoff hopes look like, where they are in the standings. This is, unfortunately, they have one NHL goaltender, and then they got a tweener. So they're trying to get themselves back into a playoff race by playing Skinner more than they should. But I don't think fatigue was an issue, and I would play him the next 2 games.
Go ahead, Struts. Yeah,
let me jump in here. So he's played in 21 of 27 games. So he's on pace for 61 games played out of 81. Does anyone think Skinner can handle playing 61 games and be fresh in the playoffs?
No, but he won't. They'll start playing other goaltender. They'll find another goaltender. Yeah, so, no, I don't think they're not going to keep this pace up. They won't keep the pace up, so I don't think he'll play 61 games.
Right. And so what I'm saying is they had an opportunity to drop an easy one, where he put someone else and it takes it off the load. So it's just cumulative, right? We can't say, well, he's going to play less towards the end of the year. Well, towards the end of the year, he's already tired from what he's done at the beginning of the year, right? So that's why I'm trying to manage it the whole year. There is no, so how many games do we want Stuart Skinner to play? A lot of people spoke 50. So he's on pace for 61. Are they going to be able to get his numbers down from 61 down to 50? That's a hard press. So when's this goal coming? Who's it going to be?
I think they are.
I don't know when that goal is coming.
They have it mapped out, Stride. They have it mapped out.
You think they have it mapped out, Brownie? You think they have it mapped out, or are they flying by the seat of their pants right now because they started winning games? I don't see a clear plan here, Brownie.
Chris Knobloch talked about it just recently, how they had a plan of what they're putting their goaltenders. He talked about it before they put Pickard in. That they've got a plan of where they're playing their goaltenders, what days they think he needs rest, and which ones they don't need rest. Yeah. So I'm just going by what Knobloch said in one of his post games.
Well, the current plan has Skinner playing over 60 games. So when are we going to see the dramatic shift in the plan? Because the plan as it exists right now.
When they get a true backup goaltender is when they will have a shift in the plans. And I do believe they're going to do that, whether it's Jack Campbell or a trade.
There's no guarantee they're going to, and they can't plan for that. They have to start like this. I'm with Struds on this one, that this might have been a missed opportunity where Pickard played well. Why make him wait so long to get back in, Brownie? Maybe see if you can get 2 good games out of him, and now you can throw another guy into the rotation more often. But if you make him, by your plan, wait a week and a half to get back in, then are you putting him in position to succeed?
Well, he succeeded the last time having sat out for 2 weeks. So I don't think I have an issue waiting an extra week and a half for his next game.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand what you're saying, Brownie, but I can't just, well, they're going to make a trade. Well, between now and then, them making a trade, they could wear him out, right? That's the problem. And, is it trade? It's going to happen before Christmas? Maybe not. The New Year, I don't know. And we keep talking, well, there'll be a break. Like, right now he's on pace to play 42 of the next 55 games. So who's the other goalie playing 13?
Yeah, but you can't go on what he's on pace for. That's like a guy that scores the first goal of the season. He's on pace for 82 games or 82 goals. So you can't do it that way.
It's a third of the year. It's a third of the year. That's a third of the year. It's not 3 games. How much of a sample do you want? So listen, let's agree. Jack Campbell is not coming. I don't believe he's a solution. And Picard, they're unwilling.
I don't think either of their options right now are the solution. I think they will give Jack Campbell another opportunity. I said it before. I thought it would be when they go on the road. I don't think they want to start him on home ice. I think that's too much pressure for him to come up and play. I think they'll start him on a road trip. They'll give him an opportunity. And if it doesn't work out, then I believe they will have no choice but to find another goaltender. I don't think right now, I said on this podcast, when we were asked what were the percentages of the Oilers making the playoffs, it was 100% for me. 100%. And I didn't care who their goalies were. But having said that, for the Oilers to win a Stanley Cup, they have to upgrade on Skinner Pickard. They cannot. I don't know if winning a Stanley Cup with those two goaltenders is in the possibility. I think they have to upgrade so that they have a safety net in case Skinner's tired.
Don't disagree with that, but I don't think you can wait to put your pacing on Stuart Skinner until you have that goalie. I think you do need to start looking for opportunities to pace him now. And by the Brownie plan over the next week, he's going to continue to play an absolute ton. Brownie, do you want to know what they're saying on the stream? Like when you and Struds get into it and Struddy is clearly in the wrong, I usually plunk him over the head with what people are saying. Can you withstand the comments right now, Brownie?
Well, hold on. Before you get that, let me just do this math. So I believe there's 55 games left, and Skinner's on pace to play 42 of 55 of those. So for him to get to a number where he plays only around 51, 52 games, he only plays 32 the next 55. That means some goalie has got to play 23 of the next 55 games. So 23 of the next 55. Is that happening?
Nice math.
That's a lot of games.
Possibly.
That's a lot of games, buddy.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of games, but you're a team that's fighting for a playoff spot. Do you trust Pickard to win you more than half of those?
Well, I don't. Well, 23 of 55 games. That's nearly half.
So do you trust if you're a team on the outside of the playoffs, do you trust Pickard to play 23 games?
Nope, but I trust him to play against the Blackhawks. Oh,
well, I would have played him against the Blackhawks. I would have played him, but I wouldn't have played him in the game before that.
Oh God! Now you're taking games off the schedule for him.
Okay, let's get to the Weiss Johnson YouTube mentions. It might be chilly out now. You'll be a hero though when that first day of heat arrives, and you've got your AC set up and ready to go. The gift that keeps on giving. That new AC unit installed by the pros from Weiss Johnson. Order now. Save with their festive December special, 25% off any in-stock air conditioner. For details, visit wjcools.com. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson,
Okie dokie, going to the stream here. Lots of action on this debate between Struds and Brownie. Fairly lopsided. By the way, there's a poll up that Steve quickly got up about who should start next game, so feel free to vote. Steve Volition says Brownie is up too late. Norm Camp says, sorry, Brownie is in the wrong. Oh, Bob's your uncle says Brownie's bang on tonight, but he is in the minority.
Thanks.
Bob's your uncle is in the minority. S Mac D9 says Struds is bang on. Should have been Pickard in Chicago. Jay does, I love Brown, but how do you get a better goalie? Question mark. What else we got here? Rishaug said it best. Other teams are making moves. This group just has to figure it out, and soon. Nothing to do with the debates, but I like the compliment that I was given, so I went there. Brownie, they changing your mind?
Pardon me?
Anybody changing your mind? The masses aren't with you on this one, bud.
No. That's okay. I still believe that we will have Skinner the next two games, and then you will get Pickard in the game against New Jersey. That's what I believe is going to happen. I trust the coaching staff knows more about the health and rest ratio that Skinner needs than I do or Struds does. And that's what I believe they're going to do. So I got no problem with Skinner playing the next two hockey games. I don't think they lost tonight because Skinner was tired.
Yeah, and I don't think Struds, you're not suggesting they lost because he's tired, are you? It's more just big picture. You're playing three-dimensional chess here, and Brownie's smashing around the checkerboard. Isn't that what you're saying, Struds?
Yeah, I built a hell of a case here. You can't handle the truth. That's the next thing I'm going to say here. But no, I listen. I would have. Yeah, I think it is a bit big picture. And again, I don't know if those goals go in if he doesn't or doesn't play against Chicago. But big picture, what is happening with Stuart Skinner is not sustainable. And we saw it last year. So this is where I'm at. I agree. They need someone to play a tandem with him. But if you don't have that, it doesn't mean you still can't manage the goalie's time, right? His energy.
Yeah. Great points by both of you. Fantastic stuff. We're going to wrap the segment here going inside the numbers with Sport Logic, brought to you by Yo Mama Maternity. If you're expecting or someone in your life is expecting, it's Christmas time is just around the corner. Check out Yo Mama Maternity and Nursing. They've got everything that the expectant mother in your life could need. And it's important to have clothes that are comfortable, clothes that fit, clothes that you can feel at home in during that difficult time. How about a gift certificate if someone is expecting? Strudwick Family Business. Hey, Struds. Get busy around Christmas time with Shona and down at the shop?
They're busy there. They're busy. That's why I'm running all over the place.
Nice. Visit yomamamaternity.com. Steve, bring us the numbers here, buddy. Pretty lopsided as you expect, given the numbers here. Slot shots on net, 29-10 Edmonton. No surprise there. They were dominant. How about the scoring chances off the cycle? 24-5 in favor of the Oilers, winning 74% of the puck battles tonight and absolutely dominating puck in the ozone time. These numbers brought to you by our good friends over at Sport Logic. Listen, as far as the Skinner debate, can we all agree on this, guys? Because I was walking out of the rink and I hear people muttering, "Oh, need to get a goalie," and fans are frustrated. There's some of it on the stream here. Like Stuart Skinner has turned his game around pretty significantly here. It's going in a really good direction. This was an off night, but they don't need to completely rethink their entire goaltending situation here. I'll be on the lookout for an upgrade as a backup. But Stuart Skinner has turned it around here significantly, Struds. It's not panic time over him.
No, and I don't want to say I haven't lost faith in Stuart Skinner.
No, and that's not what I think you're saying either. No,
I'm just saying he is not a 63-star goalie. When we started the year, I believe I said I thought 50 for Skinner, 32 for Campbell. That would have been a perfect outcome. Somewhere in there. Like, I think at this stage in his career, Skinner is more of a tandem type goalie. And that's not a reflection of where I think he can go. It's just where he is now. I believe that's where he's at. So, when you don't have that, I think that it's a challenge for him. I see him as a tandem goalie now, and tandem means 50 to 32 games, Brownie.
Yeah, I agree with that, Struts. I do. I think that was probably the plan until Campbell had a meltdown and the Oilers had a horrible start to the season. I do believe that's what they wanted to do. I mean, I like Calvin Pickard and I like what he's done in his games, but you're a team that's on the outside looking in. You're playing so well, you're trying to grab every point you can get right now to get back in the race to believe. I don't think there's Calvin Pickard playing 23 games is something that they want. I just don't. And the fact that Skinner's playing every game kind of proves that point. I do believe they have to upgrade. I got no problem with Skinner as my starter. I don't. But I do believe they need an upgrade in net as a backup to give him a spell here during the regular season and also in the playoffs, just in case. I think if you don't have someone that you trust as your backup in the goalie, that backup in the playoffs, that puts a lot of pressure on Skinner to be good all the time. And we saw last year that there were some hiccups. So I have no problem Skinner being your starter. But yeah, I do believe he is being overworked. But right now they have no other option.
63 bulge, quite the handle. Let's not pile on Skinner. The guy saved the year last year. If Campbell was doing his job, the torch wouldn't have had to be passed so early. All right, that was the breakdown brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel. By the way, Rob Brown's appearances on the podcast brought to you by our great friends over at Kin Print. They're a local company. They're family-owned, which we love. They have decades of experience filling any and all of your promotional apparel and embroidery needs. So check out kinprint.ca. Brownie, you almost home or you hanging in for another segment? Like, what's your sitch, bud?
I am sitting right now across the street looking at all the beautiful Christmas lights on my block. I am in my driveway right now.
Okay. Well, we'll let you go then, pal, unless you want to call us back, but we'll leave that for you and Steve to figure out. Great debate tonight, bud. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'm going to go home right now, and I'm going to get on the stream, and I'm going to equal it out, and I'm going to cut down Struddy, and I'll be winning by about 11:35.
You should, man.
Don't use the handle the bulge.
You got to find a better handle than that one. Okay, Brownie, we'll talk to you soon. That is the great Rob Brown. Maybe taking an L tonight, though. I'm not sure. Brownie might have taken his first L of season 3 of the podcast. Tons more coming up, including our takeaways segment, Struddy's World, Ask Us Anything, Take a Lap, lots to go. Stick around.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner and we've got everything you need for the athlete and sports fan on your list. With over 30 different sports under one roof, including hockey, bikes, ball, and our amazing fan shop, United is your one-stop shop for everything sport. Don't know what to buy? A United gift card is always a fan favorite. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca. Okay, heroes, are you trying to tough it out through a sports or life injury right now? Trying to prove your mettle by grinding through, gritting your teeth? Well, Redefined Health is here to say it's time to come on in. At Redefined Health, they'll high-five you for your toughness and then get to work on helping you fix the problem. Helping athletes and heroes find better balance, performance, and injury prevention. Visit redefinedhealth.com. All right, time to get now to takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. All 2023 boats must go. Martin Motorsports clearing out their inventory to make room for new models. Shop Supra, Moomba towboats, Berkshire, South Bay, Trifecta pontoons, and Crestliner fishing boats at clearance pricing over at Martin Motorsports, West Edmonton. Stop by for a quote today. It's one of those places, Struddy, when you walk in, you just feel excited. You just look around and it makes you feel excited, like they're the place you go for fun. So check out Martin Motorsports if you have a chance. Okay, we talked a lot about Stuart Skinner in that first segment. Want to talk a little bit more here as we'll go back to the Weiss Johnson sound box. Skinner walked out, and there's no easy way to get to it. Flat out asked him what he thought of the last 2 goals and how he felt about them. Obviously said he wasn't very happy, said that he didn't want to make any excuses. Then he had a lot more to say. Steve, go ahead and roll some of Skinner post-game tonight, taking accountability.
I think the guys played a heck of a game. I don't think anybody in this room should be upset except for me, to be honest. I think that I ended up kind of losing us the game. And that's something that I'll take on, and I'll be better for it. But I think these guys in here should all be very happy with how they played. They were fantastic.
Steve, do you have the other one as well?
You talk about, not many guys stand there and say I cost the team the game here. It's part of being a goalie, I guess. And just part of the job. How important is it to be good at that part of the job too?
Yeah, I think you got to take ownership when you need to. I know, obviously, as a goalie, I have opportunities to help us win games, and I also have sometimes I end up losing the game for the guys. So, yeah, it's one of those roles, and I picked that role because I love it. So I'm gonna keep on loving that, and this is only gonna make me better. So,
Struddy, what do you think, man?
I like the way he answered that question. I mean, you can acknowledge your game without beating yourself right up, right? And you can also acknowledge what other people contributed. I love how you say, no, the other guys in the room should be really happy with how they went, how they played. And I'm not sitting here saying that Stuart Skinner blew this game up. Let's be clear. He's played very well. But tonight, I believe there was a couple goals he'd like to have back. The problem for him is that the goalie at the other end was not having that. Like he was not having that situation. So the contrast is pretty stark. But what is Vasilevsky, $8-9 million goalie? And this guy being Skinner is what is he, 2.5, 3 million, whatever he is, right?
Yeah.
So
3 and change. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit different, no Stanley Cups, 2 Stanley Cups for Vasilevsky, probably the best goal in the league the last, Schauger? 8 to 10 years? Would that
Oh
be?
yeah, man.
Would that be
I mean,
fair to say
he's
that
been top of the heap for a while?
Yeah. So, this is one where you're like, okay, this guy did a good job. He got it done. But I'm not going to go after Brownie's on here, but I do think that's where the players have to find a way to break Vasilevsky. But it's what I like is that the Oilers, they got down, they came back, they got it, then they ended up losing the game. But for the most part, their game was quite consistent. And that's, I think, when Leon talks about, we'd win 8 of 9 of these or 9 to 10, whatever it is, your game is consistent. And I like that, because everyone's going to have an off night, right? Or an off shift or an off moment period. But the consistency for the team is what I liked in this game.
2.6 million. Sorry, as I correct myself on Skinner's cap hit. And he's got 2 more years after this year at that dollar figure. There was a time where Jack Campbell took accountability, but it was different. Remember, he called his play pathetic, really piled onto himself. And at that point, Struds, you expressed a lot of concern about that. And I think rightfully so, because, for a couple of reasons. One, you wonder how he's doing. Like, man, is he going to be able to bounce back from this? But the other is, as a teammate, when you hear your guy say that, you're thinking, man, how do you have faith that this guy's going to be okay? And players need to feel faith in their goaltender. I think that was part of the case that you made at the time. If you're a teammate listening to Skinner tonight, what are you thinking?
Yeah. I honestly, I think you walk down there and say, buddy, hey, we got you. You've had us many times. We've got you here. Like, don't worry about it, man. Can't wait to see you in the pipes the next game. And make no mistake about it. He's for the game against Florida. Like, they're not going with Pickard and now he's going to be there. So you just go down and say, hey, bud, we got you. Let's just go next game. Let's just do this. Right. And what the game wasn't a disaster by Skinner, but there's in a moment where they really needed him to kind of get it done. The other goalie did, and he didn't. And that was the difference in the game, quite frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's fair. That accountability though, like that's not easy to do. And I think he did it in a way tonight where, he didn't beat himself up. Like he said after, I actually thought I was pretty good in the first couple of periods.
Yeah.
Just obviously he wants those 2 goals back. Wasn't going to make any excuses. And I respect that. That's not easy to do. The spotlight is bright in Edmonton on the goaltending, especially when you have an off night or when the team isn't playing well. And that to me looked and sounded like a guy who is going to put this in the right place. And I think you go back with Stuart Skinner next game because you want to give him the chance to get that back right away. And I think
100%.
you owe that to him. I think you just put him back in there. Now, I agree with you. It's time to get the other guy another start. But if I'm Chris Knobloch, for that reason, I'm going right back to Skinner.
100%. And he will. The opportunity, the low-hanging fruit isn't there. Florida's not an easy out, not that there's many easy outs every night. But listen, Stuart Skinner is very good at the media. And I think he does have the makeup where he's able to walk out of that room tonight and say, there was a couple things I'd like to change, but I'm going to go home and just, lay down in my bed, with my little baby, and I'm going to just shake this off. By tomorrow morning, I come back with a fresh start, because he's had many good starts, not just this year, but last year as well.
Steve, the results of the poll are in. What did they say, my friend?
Yeah, we got 57% with Pickard and 42% Skinner for Saturday versus Florida.
Okay, interesting stuff. Struds, we spent so much time here on Skinner. Let's wrap up takeaways. I just want to know maybe what else stood out to you tonight. What are some other talking points from tonight that you think are noticeable from the game? I glanced over at my notes here. 40-14, the shots were after 2. That 25 shots in that second period. You got Bouchard, and his streak continues with 13 games. And the other note I have down is the fourth line, man, drawing penalties, like getting out there and drawing penalties. What else stood out for you?
Well, it's something that I'm going to give you credit for here. You've talked about, I think you called it the middle 6 when you spoke with Knobloch.
Yeah.
And, they had Draisaitl with Fogel and Janmark, but I find it notable, to use your words, that he doesn't seem to want to refuse to break up Fogel and Janmark or Kane and Connor Brown.
Yeah.
And I've advocated for Kane with Fogel and then Brown with Janmark. That to me is, I'd like to see that arrangement and Fogel on the right wing.
They're searching for it a little bit. Like they bounced they made the swap with Leon and Ryan McLeod. You know what I like? I like how stubborn he's being. He's not messing with that top line. Under no circumstances, he's just not going to mess around with it. Doesn't matter, how many games Leon goes here or what this looks like, at even strength. He's not messing with a good thing. Connor McDavid, it's not fair. And it doesn't have to be fair. It doesn't have to be fair, and it's not. Connor McDavid is playing with, the guys that are truly those top 6 guys. And Leon Draisaitl's in a position where he's having to pull some guys along. And I think Draisaitl just needs to stay with it. And I like the fact that Knobloch is just continuing to put him in that position to have to pull these guys along and figure it out.
But he said it when he arrived. I got to get to know these guys, right? So he's getting to know them. And if you're constantly jumbling it up and mixing up lines, although I just advocated for that, if you're constantly doing it, you don't really know what you have. So he's being patient. He's trying to find a way. Now, it has been good that they went on an incredible run, and that does help a lot. That buys you a lot of goodwill, not just in the dressing room, but also up in the management group, right? So it buys you some goodwill. But I think he's trying to get a sense of what these players are all about. And how they're going to fire, and even how Leon fires and what he needs around him.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people think they need someone that can get the puck to Leon. I don't see Kane as a real passer. I don't know that Connor Brown is a setup guy. Who is Sam Gagner, but I'm not sure that's where he's at right now. And as you've mentioned, we've mentioned many times, the fourth line's actually rolling along pretty nicely. So if your first and fourth lines are doing their jobs, and the second and third are still trying to find the right mix.
I'm going to try and find this stat. I won't be able to in time as we wrap up this segment. But the one thing I wonder if they could do a little bit, Struds, and I'll see if I can grab the stat, if it'll back up my assertion. What about having 14-2 out there a little more with Draisaitl? He's got 25-5 out there a ton, and and Darnell Nurse is playing really well right now.
Mm.
But what about trying to help those guys get going a little bit by giving them the D pair that moves the puck better?
Well, then what does that do to McDavid's line, right? They're one puck moving defenseman away, right? They need one more complementary guy to move that puck up to Leon, like you see Bouchard and Ekholm do it. So, that's a hole, right? That's a hole. They need to get that puck up there. I think the goaltending's an issue, and then trying to figure out that middle 6. That's the 3 areas I see.
Yeah,
that need to be addressed, and unlikely probably to fill all 3.
Yeah, and actually, as I look at the numbers here at even strength, this according to Natural Stat Trick, Darnell Nurse is first at even strength with Leon Draisaitl, 727. Evan Bouchard is not that far behind though. He's over 7 minutes as well. CC and Ekholm, yeah, it's fairly close actually. So maybe I'll back up that thought, but it's just noticeable to me as sometimes you see CC struggle to make that pass that Bouchard would be able to. But I thought they did a decent job as a line. Like I thought Janmark and Fogle were dangerous at times tonight, and they had some good shifts in the offensive zone. The play wasn't dying on their stick a bunch, Struds, which I think is a good sign.
Yeah, when you're playing with that level of player and you're Fogle and Janmark, your job is to not kill the play. So you got to keep it moving, keep the puck moving, and try to find him. Now you can't always defer to him, but try to find the big guy, and then for you to get open so they can get it back to you. And they're not, neither one of them are natural gifted goal scorers, but they're pretty big guys that can skate and get to where they need to go. So it's a little bit different game for Leon, where Leon is, and those guys are not passers. They are not elite level passers. Who are the best passing forwards? I'd say Nuge, McDavid,
Draisaitl, obviously.
Sam well,
Gagner's got good vision.
Gagner. Those are probably the 3 best. So there's not a lot of options there to set it up. And quite frankly, there's not a ton of great distributors around the NHL that are pure feeders of the puck to your main guy. So Leon's kind of got to adjust his game. And maybe that's not fair, but a little bit more ground and pound, right? A little more ground and pound, work it down, and then eventually kind of find an opening. And I know it's hard to do. You're turning a Ferrari into a little bit of a truck, but that's the way it is.
Lots more other content coming up in our Ask Us Anything segment. Coming up next, did you see what happened in St. Louis tonight with Jordan Kyrou? If you did not, stick around. Struds and I are going to dig into it, and you'll hear some post-game from Jordan Kyrou. This was a very unique situation. We will take a lap right after the break.
Time to talk about your mortgage? It doesn't have to be a daunting conversation. With over 16 years in the industry, Maria Gallus with Maximum Mortgages knows how to make it easy. With access to dozens of different lenders, let Maria customize the perfect solution for you. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or renewing, or a first-time buyer, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you feeling confident you're in great hands, making informed decisions. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
Are you ready to elevate your moving experience? Trusted for over 100 years, Ferguson Moving and Storage are your partners in relocation, ensuring your journey is smooth and stress-free. And say goodbye to surprises with Ferguson's transparent flat rate pricing. Contact them now for a free moving quote and use a promo code Ferguson to receive $100 off your next move. Visit fergusonmoving.com and let them lift your expectations.
All right, time now to take a lap. Struddy brought to you by
our good buddies at Backscape. This product is taking the online world by storm right now. It is everywhere. Get rid of your unwanted back hair all by yourself with Backscape, the water-resistant rechargeable shaver. Cut with a long handle lets you take care of your business all on your own. Shave in any direction like this massive man. With no bumps or cuts, it's easy, it's awesome. Right now, it's their biggest sale of the year. 30 to 50% off just in time for the holidays. Visit backscape.com. That's bakscape.com and choose from a variety of packages delivered right to your door. Shogger.
Yeah, the number of people that have asked me about Backscape, the number of people that have asked me if I can get them one, like this is, people are interested in this thing. So I've got more coming in. We're going to be giving more away. Glad to have Backscape on board. Struddy, let's go to St. Louis. Do you want to tell the entire story from the beginning with Kyrou early in the day? You set it up.
Yeah, so Jordan Kyrou, obviously a pretty long time St. Louis Blue. This morning was asked about his coach, former coach, Craig Berube getting fired, who's now replaced by Drew Bannister. And he said, no comment, he's not my coach anymore. Now, obviously, Craig Berube was loved, I believe, by that fan base. He brought them their first Stanley Cup in 2019. And so today when Jordan Kyrou was announced...
Okay, just hang on one sec, though. So I just want to pause you there. So he was asked about, I think he was asked about his relationship. His only comment was, no comment, he's not my coach anymore. What did you think of when you saw those comments today? What did you think when you saw that? Because they are known to have clashed.
Yeah. I would say that he was happy that he was fired. That was my gut. When you don't give a comment, it goes to the negative, right? I mean, it's easy to say, you know what? He helped me a lot in my career. Unfortunately left on and not. So he didn't.
It came across as shots fired, didn't it?
It did. Like, just move on. It doesn't matter. But I believe that Berube is liked in that market.
He's beloved in that market, man.
So
beloved in that market.
Sometimes it's a young guy, 25 years old, a young guy, never been through it before, doesn't understand the situation.
Yeah. So fast forward to tonight.
He's announced in the starting lineup and the fan base boos him. So let's now hear post game.
And they did boo him, I think, Struds, throughout the game as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Pretty much every time he touched the puck, the home fans rained down the boos on him.
They were letting him know. So let's hear post game. Kyrou was asked about the boos, and here's a response.
You're getting pretty emotional here. Where are the emotions coming from?
I mean, it's just tough, right? Like, I love playing here, so it's tough to hear the fans booing me there. Sorry.
Yeah, he got really emotional. He was asked about it right before, and he said, I can understand where they're coming from, given my comments today. I love playing for this team, so that's hard. And then the follow-up question is where he got emotional, Struds. What did you make of that?
Yeah, so he did clarify. He got a chance to clarify his comments. He said, I appreciate what he did, and I learned a lot from Craig Berube. And that's the answer, right? I believe the path of least resistance in this situation is the best. You don't, because he made it a story. And now this is a bigger story, right? Are the fans going to forgive him? They always forgive and forget. If he gets going, the team starts winning. But just, I believe, even if you have a bad relationship with a coach, he gets fired, and you're like, oh man,
Take the high road.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him, and I wish him well moving forward. In the back, you can, throw darts at his picture. I don't really care, but just don't make it a story, because now the story is about Jordan Kyrou. And then will he have a similar relationship with the new coach, Drew Bannister, or what does he think about him? And then now when he's asked something like, well, is he saying what he really thinks? Like it becomes a bigger issue. So really interesting start for Drew Bannister. And to be fair, they did they did beat the Senators tonight 4-2. And so that's one coach who's new there in St. Louis. And I'm wondering about, this isn't my next one, but the Senators,
DJ Smith, and
I'm telling you, man, they're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, I believe.
Yeah.
That team's better. They're better than they've shown, than they've played.
Yeah.
And what Jacques Martin's what are they called again? The coach's coach,
advisor to the coach or something.
Yeah.
Or
I think that Jacques Martin will be the interim coach for the rest of the year. And they'll find a new coach after they get to Jim. That's my prediction. Again, I like DJ, but Schauger, I had just mentioned that the Sens were the team that they lost to.
Yeah, and that's a good point. But let's hit one more point here on Jordan Kyrou, Struds. This is a guy, 25 years old, makes $8.125 million, has 5 goals in 29 games and 18 points. So hasn't been a great year for him. I just want your opinion. How do you feel about the fans doing what they did to one of their own players tonight?
Well, I mean, as a teammate, I'd be very protective of my teammate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're obviously very protective, but the fan base, they fall in and out of love with players and coaches. But I just look what Craig Berube did with that team. Went in a bad situation, turned it around. They got them the Stanley Cup. The whole Gloria song, then the young lady who was also ill. Like the whole thing was just a magical run. Like it was just crazy. So I think they're protecting their guy as well. So, I think Jordan has got some work to do to patch it up there. And I think he can start by scoring more and getting more points. I think that'd be it, and playing better. I think that'd be the first space. But as a teammate, you'd always protect your player. But I think a veteran in that room needs to sit down and just say, hey, buddy, like Colton Parayko, whomever, buddy, like this has got to be different.
Yeah. I think
he's one of the leaders.
I think it was good. I think that's a fan base saying we didn't like that from a guy that's a core guy, and you shouldn't behave that way. And they made it loud and clear to him. I think this will be a learning experience for Kyrou, but at the same time, if I'm that fan base, you need to let it go now. Your point's been made. The kid has sat in it. I think they got to let it go. Do not let this be something that lingers beyond what just happened tonight.
But winning tonight helps, right?
Yeah.
Winning tonight, and they need multiple wins to kind of push it in the rearview mirror, right?
Yeah. Let us know on the stream what you thought of the fan base doing that to one of their young players. Point number 2, Struddy.
Maple Leafs losing 5-0 to Columbus, and they come back and tie it, and they didn't win. But
Came all the way back.
They came all the way back, 5-0 from 5-0. They came back and they got it back to 5-5. Then lose in overtime. Ken Johnson scores the Magic Man. Interesting, it's Patrick Laine scored the first goal. Then he got hurt. He got tangled up with former Oiler Willie Lagesson and left the game with a shoulder injury. So I mean, his 6th goal of the year, but just his year has been a disaster. Johnny Gaudreau tonight -3, like just a lot of disasters. But I guess it's just a fun thing. I was part of one. We were winning with the Rangers 5-0 in Montreal. And that's a loud Billing, the Bell Center. It was crickets. There was nothing going on. Then 1, then 2, then 3. And we're like, oh my God. I think when they got to, I can't remember if he called it at 4 or when they tied it, but Tom Rennie called a timeout and he tried to talk to us. They were making so much noise. He couldn't talk to us. He just kind of gave us a thumbs up and like encouraged us to go. He couldn't hear anything. And we lost in overtime. I think it was in overtime. But anyways, being up 5-0, the team coming back on you is a nightmare. But at least they got the point out of it. If you're or 2 points, I should say, if you're Columbus.
And they hung in there with Samsonov all night, didn't they?
Believe they did.
I think they did. Yeah, I can check that really quick. But that goaltending situation in Toronto is it is interesting. What did they do here? Ilya Samsonov, 23 of 28 at even strength. So they stuck with him the whole time.
Instead of Martin, because who's their other option? Martin Jones, right?
Jones, I think.
So, the Leafs, I mean, Wall's out. What is it? I think ankle sprain. And, they have goalie issues there. They need D-men. Like they're in this.
Do
they need. I mean, those D have hung in there like Willie Legason. I love God love him, but I mean, that's not here rolling into Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final, right? So, so interesting night tonight. Out of town, scoreboard looking pretty crazy when you're up 5-0. You look up again and it's 6-5. It's crazy, crazy night.
Good stuff. That was Taking a Lap. Brought to you by Backscape. The Christmas season is here. If you're looking for a gift for that man in your life, Backscape is a great option. They got a great sale going on right now, so make sure you check them out online. When we come back, let's talk some garbage. Struddy's World coming up. The Edmonton Sport and Social Club is YEG's top destination for adult recreational sports, offering over 20 different options, including ball hockey, indoor volleyball, pickleball, and now ice hockey for all you fans out there looking to lace them up for the first time or get back into the game after a few years off, like Struddy. Sign up by December 13th for the winter season beginning mid-January at edmontonsportsclub.com.
Winter is upon us, so why not make the best of it? Marmot Basin Ski Resort is where it's at. Ski half price every day, no blackout periods. Pick up your escape card for $99 and make winter fun more affordable. Half the price, all the powder. Get yours at www.skimarmot.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good. I wish Brownie was still here. I feel like this might be interesting tonight. Time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Pathfind. When it's time to make the tough decisions of employee layoffs, including Pathfind outplacement services for your transitioning employees, it's like ensuring your team always has a solid defense. Help your employees make a seamless transition to their next career goal. Visit www.pathfind.ca to see how they can assist you in creating a winning game plan for both your company and your valued employees. Steve, why don't you hop in here for Struddy's World, buddy? Jump in. Struddy, have at her, pal.
Creating perfection in life is difficult, right? We see it sometimes. Maybe you shoot a swish or a basketball shot's a swish. Maybe it's a beautiful chip and you jar it, right? Or Jolly Roger, my mom calls it. Cooking a steak to perfection, to that medium rare, just where it's just pink inside, but not too bloody. Those are perfection thing. And I have now started to get to the point where I am creating perfection with my garbage management. Oh, yes. What does it look like? It looks like this. My garbage day is Thursday. And I love when I can collect it all. When the garbages I'm emptying are full, and I put it all, and it all fits inside the garbage because we have the containers, the black one and the green one for the recyclables. But when you can get it all out there and it's all full bags, it's such a good feeling, because there are some weeks where you go and collect the garbage, it's a half bag. So you take a half bag out, then you throw that into your big bag, and you put that in a half bag, and you put it into your other garbage. It just feels like it's a waste. But I went through the house last night, and I picked all the garbage up, and all fit in one perfect bag. And I put that bag inside a perfectly full now black one. Same with the smaller green one. Then all my recyclables. Guys, there wasn't a hint of garbage anywhere in our house. It was so organized. I lined it up there like it's a Three Wise Men of someone's perfect Christmas setting. It looks beautiful. It's an artist. It must have been my neighbors. It must have been like watching Picasso paint the way I organized and handled my garbage last night and this morning.
Okay. Question. Was the lid flush? Like, was the lid closed perfectly flush, or was it slightly lifted off? because the way you're making it
tighter
describe.
than your wallet at lunchtime.
So no bulge happening out the top of the garbage container. No bulge.
Zero bulge. Zero.
Yeah. See, Steve, I don't know about you. I'm the guy that at our garbage day is Monday. So Sunday night at 11:30, because it's my job and I always forget. Our garbage is stuffed so full. I'm the guy like in the middle of winter wearing sandals, walking around looking for empty space in other people's garbages for the rest of my refuse, which is maybe a whole nother discussion, Steve, about whether that's okay or not for me to do. If I've waited till 11 p.m. and the garbage truck's coming the next morning, am I okay to use other people's space?
That's a good question. That was covered in Curb Your Enthusiasm. A funny episode there, but I'm with Struddy on this one. I take a lot of pride in my garbage days, which are Fridays. I love that feeling of going around the house and collecting just the right amount, filling the bin just the right amount. I go outside. I bring my neighbors out too. I'm that good of a guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just a hero. And feels good. Feels real good.
Obelisk21 says, after hearing him talk about his lawn and now his garbage, thank God he's not part of a homeowners association. He would be a total Karen. J-Dub says, has dubbed you Garbage Picasso. You are dubbed Garbage Picasso. How to pack the piss out of one bag. The Husky ones from Home Depot. So a little garbage bag recommendation there, Struds. You strike me as the kind of guy who knows what brand of garbage bag you use.
Yeah, I'm very strict. I only use the orange ones, actually. I use orange ones. I find I like the way it is because I used to like when I put it before we had the barrel that it showed everyone like, hey, this guy means business. He's not going cheap on the garbage bags. And I found that they were a little bit more resistant to pushing and pulling. You know, sometimes you have a stick or something in and out there. But I'll applaud both of you guys. It sounds like you do take somewhat care, although Shaugert's you sound a little bit lazy, but let's not bring you down this night. I don't like the early week garbage pickup. I'm a fan. I wish I had Friday. Now I can't reinvent or recreate the whole garbage pickup for the whole south side of Edmonton.
I'm not sure, Karen. You might be able to. You should get on it. Get going with some emails,
not going to fight. I'm not going to fight that fight because there's something nice about going into your garage and just seeing there's no recycling. Because I keep my recycling garbage inside, although I keep my bins outside. Like I don't want my recycling packages sitting outside. I see some people do that, and I don't like the looks of that. So I keep it inside the home. So that's why I like it. I don't like it going through the weekend. There's nothing better. Like I went up, got home today, no garbage anywhere. It's just a beautiful. I roll down to the end of the driveway. I get my bins. I'm strutting like the cat. I look like Cindy Crawford walking the catwalk. So proudly, I put those two things empty. Lock it.
Hey, I have a question. Will you put garbage in your garbage bin loose from another garbage can inside the house, or does it have to be bagged and then placed?
I think that's disrespectful to the garbage bin.
To have loose refuse in the can.
That's right.
It just gets picked up by the machine, though, bud.
That's not how I do it. You can do it your way, right? You're very casual with your garbage maintenance. Obviously, I can see why some of the residents at Sherwood Park would be frustrated with you. I do it my way. I keep it clean.
So the inside of your bin, you could eat out of that.
Tight. I'd sleep in there. If I had to tonight, I could go cozy up in there. No problem. Sometimes things leak out, right? I can't handle the leak, but generally
the Dr. Carpy says, Shoggy, it is bad form to use the dead space without a heads up. You're better than that, my friend. But it's 11 p.m. I mean, you've gone to bed.
Yeah.
You have, and who goes and adds extra garbage the next morning?
Right.
At 6 a.m. I mean, the garbage truck's generally there by 8 or 9.
I'm with you,
I think I'm in the safe zone if the lights are out and people are sleeping, Steve.
I agree.
Yeah, we got to be a community here at some point. And
so, Struds, you're okay with it?
Yeah, but as long as you don't leave their lid
ajar.
Yeah, it's got to be locked down.
Yeah.
So I've done that too.
What if it makes their lid pop a little bit? Just a little bit?
Because I've spoken to some people who work the truck that if it's open, they won't pick it up.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to be really careful because that would be very bad form if your neighbor's garbage didn't get picked up. You'd be looking for a trash bin to get rid of that in.
Chaos Never Died just called me Night Prowler garbage guy.
It is creepy though. Like you're probably in your flip flops, a house coat, and hair askew, and you're out there trying to find it. everything's swinging around. Like, what a nightmare. What a nightmare.
What the hell are we talking about?
You know what I'm
Struds. All right, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by Pathfind. Let's roll right into Ask Us Anything, brought to you by the Shark of the Park. No need for the music tonight, Steve. I'm going to kibosh the music for now.
Sounds good.
It is still the Shark of the Park, though. Renee Buclan of Maxwell Devonshire Realty. Whether you're buying or selling a home, your success hinges upon the expert advice and services provided by your real estate agent. Renee's committed to providing clients with professional services based on experience, knowledge, and skills. Call her for a no-obligation quote, 780-994-0280. Okay, Steve, why don't you just start blasting them off? Struddy, you can handle most of these, and I'll chime in if I feel the need. Let's do 5-6 minutes here and then wrap this pot up.
So a couple goalie-related ones still. Growler Media Group, our good buddy Chris Zabunya, right from his deathbed, sending in a couple comments.
Chris.
He says, good. Someone else made this point and he reiterated it, so I apologize to the original commenter, but he said, good point that Campbell hasn't been in the fold under this new coaching regime at all. At least it's worth a look before you sell out, get someone else. Like, we haven't seen Campbell under Knobloch.
Goalies get a new coach bump, Struds?
I don't know. I do not doubt that he's going to get another chance. My concern is how that's going to go. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think this is bigger than just lazy glove hand or whatever, right? So, technique.
David W. says Skinner was a reason the Oilers lost their most recent game, but by no means the only reason. Thoughts on any breakdowns that caused the goals against?
I think there's always a few breakdowns, but I always go, if you have some breakdowns, but you give up 20 good chances, we got a problem. But the chances were limited tonight. So, there's always going to be some breakdowns, but I can live with the number of chances against. Would Tampa have had 5 to 7 really good scoring chances? Probably in there somewhere. That's a pretty good night to limit them down to that.
Bitumen with some interesting stats. He said if Oilers took 57 shots, that's a franchise record for most in a regular season game. If Vasilevsky made 53 saves, that's second most saves per game in his entire career. First 4-goal game for Stamkos. So a big anomaly game in statistic wise for sure.
I can't believe Stamkos never had 4 goals before. That's crazy.
Me neither. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trusting that. Okay, so Chemo Man says, what are we going to do about Brown? Thoughts on Brown? Is he, what do we do at this point?
Well, I kept an eye on him tonight. I think I want to say he had 2 or 3 shots, so he's still getting the puck to the net, right? And I made a pretty bold statement the other day: 15 goals. He's going to end up by the end of the year. Might be a little bit bold, but I do think once he unlocks it, he's going to get it. And again, because he works hard, he kills penalties, like he does a lot of things. Unfortunately, being paid at $4 million, the fan base is always going to be critical of that because of the offensive production.
I will have a hot take here. More concerned about Ryan McLeod's game than Connor Brown's right now. Second period might have been the best period the Oilers have had all season long, and they had a real strong performance tonight. Ryan McLeod, nowhere to be found tonight. More concerned about 71 than 28. Hot take.
Anthony asks about Draisaitl's. This is a friend of mine texted it to me. He wanted me to ask it on the podcast. Him being kicked out of so many face-off circles. He's like, it's getting out of control. Thoughts on that?
Well, Rishaug made the point the other day. It's the point of emphasis the league's trying to do. And I've noticed in the past that Leon gets quite wide, and I think his feet are cheating. And I think that's the genesis of these challenges, Rishaug.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. By the way, I had the binoculars out again tonight. After Leon got tossed and was getting chirpy with the linesman, during a commercial break, he spent the entire commercial break talking to that linesman. And I wanted so badly to be able to hear it because I want to know, like, is he being nice? Is he being prickly? How do you handle that conversation? Because he clearly wasn't happy. He kept getting tossed out, but it's happening a lot to Leon Draisaitl lately.
Thomas M. says, forget tonight's game. Do you think Skinner can be our Rollison and take us all the way? 29's penalty infuriated me. Third time he's done that. 3 dumb penalties, 3 leads lost. Thoughts?
I do. I think Skinner can take them a long way, but not a tired Skinner. So I'll go back to what I said. I think my math was sound. He's on pace for 62 to 63 games. That's unsustainable, right? And quite frankly, almost for any goalie in the league now, that's unsustainable. So they've got to find a way to reduce it, and squeeze the other guy in there. And it might hurt sometimes, but so far, Pickard's done an all right job, Shaggy.
Yep, I don't disagree. I would like to see them get Pickard some more action here so they know what DEFCON level they're at for another goaltender here, right? Sometimes guys just land in a situation and it works well and they play good and they get a little bit of confidence and all of a sudden you can get a good 3-4 months out of him. Who knows what the guy might be capable of? So why not simultaneously at the same time get Pickard some more starts and get Skinner some rest and get him back on track for a reasonable number of games.
Bill Williams says, Schauger, any recent word on Broberg's trade request?
Yeah, he's in the minors playing games, which is exactly what I would have done if I were the team. Thank you very much. Duly noted. Maybe we haven't handled you properly to this point. This is what we're going to do with you right now. I think that's the truth. I think they've mishandled this player. I think it's clear. I think it's obvious. Whether they would admit that to the player and the agent or not, I don't know. But you can't fix what you've done in the past. You can only proceed with a better plan. And so I would say the trade request is firmly on Ken Holland's desk, and Broberg's firmly in the minors where he should be, getting minutes and playing games. Do not trade this player. Do not trade him.
63 Bulge. Unfortunately, I have to... I want him to change his handle because I don't like saying that. But Schauger, you're in the room. Besides McDavid, who do you think Leon wants to play with on a line?
You said besides McDavid?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Zach Hyman, I don't know, Struds. Pick a line mate. If it's not going to be Connor McDavid, I would think it's probably Zach Hyman is the guy that you want on your line with you. Nugent Hopkins, one of those two, I would say, in an ideal world. I don't think that Leon is pouting about his line mates. I don't think that it's an issue in the room. I don't think any of that. But my point is Connor's got the guys that are rocking and rolling right now. They're all playing and they're all feeling it. And Leon's trying to drag some guys through some spells here, Struds.
Yeah, it is. And I kind of talked a little bit earlier. I mean, he might have to kind of adjust his game, become a little bit more ground and pound, right? And hang on to that puck and, long time in the offensive zone and get some ugly ones. Not just him, but his line mates. And talk to Kane and Hyman or Con Brown. We're going to hold on to this puck, although now it's not those guys. But yeah, that's how I'd kind of handle it.
One more to wrap up, Steve.
All right, I'll just end with a few comments on Struddy's world. Emmer says, wish the city guys didn't leave open and turned over containers strewn all the way down alleys. Bothers him. This is important
stuff. Created a forum to complain about city workers.
Bitumen. Yeah. My dream. The worst thing that happened was when the neighbors put deer carcass in my elderly mother's garbage cans.
Oh, red card.
That's a red card for sure.
Yeah.
That's a big red card.
Yeah. And then David said, when I lived in my brother and parents, no shortage of animals tried to chew through bins. It didn't help the house. Was across the street from a major park. That's a rough.
I love our refuse discussion tonight. Nice job, Struddy, on Struddy's World. This was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Rini Bouclan of Maxwell Devonshire Realty, the shark of the park. Time now for our gem of the day. I got a pretty good one in mind, Struds, but you can tell us what you think yours is. Well, I'd like to know yours too. Brought to you by United Sport and Cycle. It's the final days before Christmas, and their last-minute Christmas sale is on now. Save big for the athlete or sports fan on your list. Visit www.unitedsport.ca. I think the gem of the night, and frustrated fans might not like this, play the clip, Steve. Stuart Skinner, total accountability on a night where his team played great, let in a couple of goals that, quite frankly, weren't great. And the guy stepped up to the mic and absolutely owned it for the gem of the night.
I think the guys played a heck of a game. I don't think anybody in this room should be upset except for me, to be honest. I think that I ended up kind of losing us the game. And that's something that I'll take on, and I'll be better for it. But I think these guys in here should all be very happy with how they played. They were fantastic.
Just some real hard honesty there, Struds. I respect that.
Yeah, and he handled it well, and he's just being honest, right? But he didn't beat himself up. So he'll be back in the pipes next game, and I think he'll be, the Skinner we've seen for the previous 2-3 weeks.
The Oilers did not rest on their laurels. The Oilers did not get too big for their britches. They did not come out and throw a brutal game out there by taking things for granted. They played a hell of a good game tonight, and they lost. They got goalied. Yeah, the streak is over, but still lots of positives, I think, for Oiler fans to take into the weekend, Struds.
100%. This group plays the same way on Saturday. They'll feel pretty good about their game.
J-Dub gets the final word of the night. Love the show. Love the engagement and viewpoints in the chat. Enjoyed my first time in here with a smiley face. Welcome, J-Dub.
Wow.
Tell your friends. Welcome to the pod. Glad you found us. Tell some friends and look forward to chatting with you again after Saturday. Struds, great job today, pal. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you Saturday.
Okay, sounds good, Steve. Good work there at the controls. Thanks to all of you for your downloads, your subscriptions, for joining us here on the live stream. We're having a blast this year. And a big thanks to Brownie for joining us tonight. We got to get him as often as we possibly can. We'll chat in a few days. Enjoy the game. We'll talk post-game. Have a great night, everyone.